Good afternoon, everybody, from the Williamsport Sun-Gazette. He is the doctor, Chris Masse. I'm Mitch Rupert. We're here to talk to you a little bit about the District 4 softball playoff field. Gets underway this week. We're staying here at South Williamsport Community Park. Things are pretty quiet now. Starting tomorrow, I guess. Yep. Things are going to get rolling across fields like this all across District 4. So we're here to give you a little bit of a playoff preview. I think, Chris, the first thing we have to talk about, last week, that Muncie Warrior Run game, big injury with Hannah Cole, center fielder from Muncie. What kind of impact is her injury and potentially her absence going to have in this tournament?
It's just sad. It's sad if she can't go. She's a great player. She's going to be a four-time All-State selection, and she's a great kid. I wrote the story about her being in the National Guard already. And it's months. The thing is, I think I touch on this in my column in tomorrow's paper. I think Muncie, even without, I think with her, they could be a sleeper to win the whole district. I think without her, that's probably all. I don't think they can win now. I don't think they could beat a Northeast Bradford in the final without her. But I think they're good enough to possibly get to the final, even without her. And I go back to the game they played against Montgomery last week. They won 11-0. And she played well. She had a double, but she didn't have any RBIs in that game. And it was her supporting cast that played great that game. And even without her, they're still a dangerous team. They've got a lot of good hitters in that lineup. The thing is, a lot of times teams pitch around Cole. Now those pitchers are going to be seeing tougher pitches and things like that. So they lose a lot of intangibles. They lose a lot of leadership. I worry more about the defensive impact than I do offensively almost, because she's such a great center fielder, probably the best in the district. Gets to a lot of balls people can't get to. She's got a rocket arm, prevents people from taking extra bases, so I worry about that. Long story short, I still think they can make a run without her. I just don't think they can win the title without her, where I think they could have with her.
Just to judge her value to the team, offensively it's there in the numbers. Defensively, last week at Warrior Run, she takes a home run away from Tay Parker in the first inning, going up and over the fence. I mean, it was a great play, one of the best I've ever seen in a high school softball game. It's odd. Normally in these type of settings, we're going to talk about the top seeds, but I want to talk about a team that was 10-10, had to schedule an extra game against State College just to get into the playoffs. Loyal Sock is a very dangerous team. This is a team that lost 5 games this year in extra innings, and they have Casey Ulmer on the mound, who's been a stalwart for the Lancers, Amanda Daniker behind the plate. How dangerous is this team?
They're real dangerous. They could win the whole thing. Them and Central Columbia seeded 8, Sock 10. Those are two of the best. I'll say they're easily the two best lowest seeded teams I've seen since I've been at the Sun-Gazette and covering softball, and that's going back to 1999. Loyal Sock's they've got everything you need to make a run. Casey Ulmer kind of struggled pitching-wise throughout the year, but she's been outstanding down the stretch. She threw a 2-hitter against State College, and they're loaded offensively. I mean, top to bottom, I like their offense maybe more than anyone in the district. Even, you look at their bottom of the order and be a top of the order for most teams. And Daniker, I think, is the best player in this field. Well, let me rephrase it. Her and Tay Parker are the two best players in the field, but she's the best catcher, bar none, in the district. And the nice thing for them is every game's been a playoff. The last 2 weeks they've been fighting for their playoff life. So this is now the actual playoffs are no different. I mean, they're used to it already. So and they come in hot. And a lot of times at this point of the year, it's not maybe who's the best team, it's who's the hottest team, and nobody's hotter than they are right now. They're the kind of team they could win the whole thing. I think they've got Lourdes in the first round. I think they'll beat them. Then you look at a game against Mifflinburg. That was the game that really got them going. They beat them 13-9. That's a heavyweight showdown if it happens in the quarterfinals. That's a district semifinal, district final-like game. If they get past Mifflinburg, I think they'll be playing in the championship.
You mentioned Tay Parker from Warrior Run. I remember covering Taylor when she was 9 years old, and we called her Taylor then. Now she's going by Tay Parker. Still got that rocket right arm. great pitcher, great in the 3-hole in the batting order. Is she one of the more invaluable pieces in this tournament to any team?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're a good team. They're a really good team throughout the lineup, but you take her away, and if they have another pitcher, I don't know who it is, because she's thrown every inning of every game. You take her away, and they might not be a playoff team right now. That's how valuable she is. As a pitcher, she's great. I'd put her and Alexis Bauer as the top 2 in the area, but love her offensively. I mean, not only does she hit for power, and not only does she hit for average and power, she's a great runner. I mean, she's maybe the fastest runner I've seen this year. So she hits a single, she can turn into a double, triple home run. She just does it all, and she gives them a real good shot to win this thing. The tough thing for them is they're going to be looking at Central Columbia in the quarterfinals, and like I said, if there's that Sock-Mifflinburg matchup, that's a titanic showdown. So is Warrior Run Central. They swept them, but that's a team that I really wouldn't want to play in the quarterfinals, so that'll be a great game. But like with Loyalsock, I think if they can get by that game, they'll go to the district final as well.
I like to liken high school softball playoffs a lot to the Stanley Cup playoffs, where in Stanley Cup playoffs, if you get a hot goalie who's just on fire, it can carry you to the finals. Same way in softball, you get a pitcher that gets into a groove, really tough team to beat. Talking about pitchers in a groove, Alexis Bauer from Williamsport has been absolutely phenomenal this year, has carried the Millionaires to where they are now. You have to look at them as a team that could make a run in the District 2 Quad 8 playoffs. Do you like Williamsport's chances?
Definitely, because like you said, Alexis Bauer, and I mentioned in the hot league pitchers getting hot, she was the perfect example last year. A bad game for her down the stretch last year was pitching a 2-hitter and giving up 1 run. I mean, she was throwing 1-hit shutouts just about every game on their way to the state quarterfinals, and she gives them that opportunity to win every game, because you just know they're not going to score a lot of runs off her. I don't want to say but it's a good bet they're not going to score a lot of runs off of her. She can strike people out, but she's got a wide range of pitches where maybe if her rise ball isn't working, she can work low in the strike zone and let her defense work for her. And she's kind of a pitcher's pitcher, if that makes any sense. And she's a great hitter too. She's like Tay Parker. She's their best hitter. She hits for power. She's a good base runner. She's going to play well at the next level. And if the offense is, like I said with their baseball team, the offense is a big question mark. I think her alone gives them a chance to get where they got to last year. I think she was good enough to carry them to a district title and even get them a state playoff win. But then once they got to the quarters and they ran into the District 1 cream of the crop teams, they have to score runs against those teams, and that's the big question. If they play defense and they can scratch out 3-4 runs a game, that's a team that could make a run at the state level as well as district level.
Got a couple teams here. Just want to get a quick thought from Doc Masse about these teams. Got to start with St. John Newman. Great to see Newman into the playoffs this year. How big a coup is this for them to get into the playoffs and get a shot?
It's amazing. It's the first time they've ever made it, and the amazing thing is them and the baseball team both made it in the same year. Baseball team's only done it twice in their program's history, so it says a lot about what Ray Berchinski, the softball coach, and the baseball coach at Danaker have done there. It's a great story. We're not supposed to take sides or anything like that, and we don't, but you got to root for a team like Newman just to get, I'll admit it, I was rooting for him to get into the playoffs. It's a great story. You like to see the underdog come through, and they're the underdog personified. Somebody's calling me right now.
Somebody forgot to turn the phone
off. Thank you, Westbrook. But,
even when he's not with us, he's still bothering.
Yeah. But Newman started. They worried that they weren't even going to have a team to start the season. They had 9 players to start. Then somebody got sick right before the season. Ray Berchinski thought they might have to cancel things. They had a 9th player come out, and even throughout the season, it's been. We're hoping we get 9 kids to show up for the game today, and through all that, they're in the playoffs, and they've got a shot. They're playing Muncie in the first round, and we touched on Hannah Cole. She's there, she's not there. It doesn't matter in that first game. Newman beat them with a healthy Hannah Cole. They beat them 8-7 at Elm Park. That was the biggest win by far for them, probably in the last 10 years. You could say maybe it was their biggest win ever, and that alone gives them the confidence going in there. They've got Christina Mignot. She's outstanding on the mound. She's one of those girls. She's going to give you a chance to win any game you're in, and she has 26 strikeouts in 2 games against Muncie. So they're excited to be here, but I don't think they're satisfied. There's a chance they could get back to Elm Park and play there in the district semis.
In baseball, a lot of times you want your pitchers to pitch to contact, let your defense work behind them. In softball, when you have an ace like Christina Mignot, she doesn't hit a lot of bats, and that's a good thing, especially with their depth issues, I guess. If she can get strikeouts, it's going to be great for St. John Newman. Good to see Newman in the playoffs this year. Get your thoughts on Wellsboro. I know we don't get up there a whole lot to see the Green Hornets. This is a dangerous team, though, that's had some big wins this year.
Yeah, they're tough. They're really young. They're the youngest team in the field. They're starting about 4 freshmen, a couple of sophomores. I think they're a team that's built for the future, but they can do something now. They got South Williamsport tomorrow. They lost them earlier in the season, but I don't think they threw the race that day. Brooke Kohler's 4-5-0 on the mound right now, and I think Roger Carr has been kind of waiting for the postseason to unload her on teams. And if they get by South, they play Troy, and Kohler threw a 3-hitter against them early in the season and beat them 3-1. So they're a team, they can make a run. And I think as young as they are, that could work to their advantage. I think sometimes when you get these really young teams, they don't understand that they're supposed to be nervous, or that they don't understand how big the playoffs are. That works to their advantage. I remember Canton in 2000 when they won the state title. That was a sophomore-loaded team, and they won it that year. Never won another state tournament game. And I think as they got older, they realized what they were trying to do. So that could work to Wellsboro's advantage too. And I think them getting this experience this year is only going to help them moving forward the next few years.
Last team I want to hear about, Montgomery. Always a good, well-coached team with Craig Weaver at the helm there. Got a nice pitcher in Emily Schneider. What do you like about the Red Raiders?
I like a lot about it. Like you said, anytime you got Craig Weaver coaching you got a shot to do something. I think he proved that in 2010 when they went to the state final. I like Schneider a lot. They've got a real tough matchup. They got to go up to Wyalusing. That road trip is enough to be bothersome, let alone they're playing the defending district champions. And that's Wyalusing lost some good players from that team, but they got some really good freshmen and sophomores. Really came on as the season went on. They played in the NTL East, which is a pretty solid conference. So that's going to be a tough matchup, but Weaver knows how to manufacture runs. They run the bases well. They're aggressive, and Schneider's pitching well. And if they're getting their bunts down, if they're taking the extra base, I think they're capable of pulling the upset.
Now, this isn't going to be as much fun because we already shot the baseball video, so Doc knows what question's coming. But we're going to put him still on the spot a little bit because he's only had about 5 minutes to think about it. Give me one team that you think is going to make the deepest run from the Sun-Gazette coverage area into the state playoffs.
Well, I'll go the roundabout way again and talk about the teams.
Cop out all the time.
I'm going to get to, but I'll get to the answer. Well, we'll get to Williamsport, but Jersey Shore is a team we haven't talked about. Jersey Shore Milton, it's the same thing that we said in baseball. That those two have to work to get to each other. It's not like baseball where they're just playing each other. But I think Jersey Shore Milton is your final in softball. Whoever wins that game, that team has a shot to do something. Jersey Shore still has 4 players that started or saw significant time from the 2000 team that went to the state final. So they're dangerous. Milton's dangerous. Double-A, I would say out of that Double-A field, I think Sock could win it, but I like Warrior Run to make a deeper run in states if they get there. So I think I'd say Williamsport, Jersey Shore, Milton, and Warrior Run are your best bets. I'll say Williamsport of all the teams to pick the one team. I'll say Williamsport because of Alexis Bauer, and because I think they have enough offensively. I think she's good enough where she can carry you a long way, and that those other players are good enough that if they're playing the way they're capable of, they could build on what they did last year and maybe get the Shippensburg.
I probably would have gone the same way with Williamsport. Obviously, the Quad A field tougher to get through, but you have that ace like Alexis Bauer. Luckily, I don't have to make the picks. He's the beat writer. He's the guy that has to put his neck on the line.
They're in there tomorrow.
And they will be in there tomorrow. Yes, Tuesday. Get the Chris Masse Sun-Gazette playoff picks and who he thinks is going to win Class A, AA, AAA, even Quad A. It'll be interesting read. Check it out, www.sungazette.com. From the South Williamsport Community Park, from the Williamsport Sun-Gazette, I'm Mitch Rupert, standing alongside the Dr. Chris Masse. We'll talk to you later.